The vast majority of American children are enrolled by their parents for some pretty clear reasons in youth sport. I mean, tens and tens of millions of them every year into youth sport, right? Almost whether they like it or not, they're going to be in it. And they're going to be in team sports usually, and early. I mean, by age 6, something like 70% of boys are on a sport team, which is sort of telling. Now, why are they there? Why do their parents enroll them and sometimes spend a ton of money on this? And why do we dress them up like major leaguers when they're playing pee-wee? I don't know. Yeah. Somebody's making money out of this is probably the answer. But why is youth sport, and has been certainly for most of the 20th century, things like Little League and pee-wee football were introduced in the 1920s and 1930s. Why are they such a big part of our culture? And I think in part the answer is that sport is a socializing vehicle. It is intended to teach children the way our society works. It's intended to teach the core values like competitiveness, actually winning. That's what it's about. Yeah. It's less about the competition. It's more about being a winner, right? You don't want to be a loser. You want to be a winner. So it's about learning how to win. And then we know in a capitalist society that being competitive, winning is highly, highly valued, and that there are some approved ways in our society that you can win, right? What do you have to do? You have to be industrious. You have to be committed. So in the youth sport context, it's like, even though you might want to go and watch a movie or hang out with your friends, you're on this team, mister, and you're going to show up. You're committed. And when you go to practice, you're going to work really hard, okay? And you'll get better and you'll be a winner, right? Sacrifice for the group. That's learned in sport, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah. I remember that.
I think so.
Sometimes if you're in a baseball situation and you're in like a youth team, you could maybe hit a home run, but sometimes it's not the right thing to do. You have to sacrifice the chance of getting that personal glory for the team and move the runner around, right?
Throw down a bunt.
And that carries over, I think, into ordinary everyday life, right?
Yeah. That's so true.
And so I think youth sport is really an important vehicle that teaches our society's values and the behaviors that you need to get on. That's a Victorian term. The Victorians always use. It's important to get on, to achieve, to be better than the previous generation, to be a winner. Okay, and so we socialize children, much more boys, by the way. Girls are much less involved, more now than ever, but girls are much less involved in youth sport than our boys. And of course, we socialize them into certain sports and not into others, right?
Yeah.
You really can't have girls doing rugby, for example.
Right.
It's too rough. Too rough for them.
Yeah.
It's too rough. We don't want them doing football. Why not? It's too rough. Come on. Not really. Because you can't have girls doing foot, right? I was a rugby player most of my life. Rugby for me and for it was a rite of passage, right? It's where I went when I was a young male to what? Establish and prove my masculinity. It's true, right?
Yeah.
And there's rites of passage in America too, baseball for boys, right?
Yeah.
Now, what happens if girls start playing rugby? Where am I going to go? When they start, what am I going to do if they do my stuff? Where do I go to establish my and prove my masculinity if a girl can do it? Doesn't that make rugby feminine? If girls can. So we're not going to have that. And forever, females have been what? socialized into sports that you can play in a skirt, right? Like tennis. Now, of course, there are exceptions, but generally, it's true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true. And so we reinforce gender roles through youth sport. We socialize boys towards certain sports and behaviors, and girls into volleying at the baseline in tennis or ice skating. I'm generalizing, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And it's been like this way for generations. And in fact, not until very recently were there hardly any opportunities. I mean, talk to your grandmothers for women to play interscholastic or intercollegiate sport in the United. Not really until 1972 when Title IX is passed, which is just extension of the Civil Rights Act that says you may not discriminate on the basis of sex when it comes to programming in educational institutions in the U.S.
A lot of people think that's a NCAA rule. It's a federal law.
It is.
And it's just applied.
And it's civil rights legislation.
Yeah. And it's just applied at the collegiate level that way. But yeah.
Yeah, just exactly. The athletic department is a unit of the university, just like the Department of History, right? Just like the HR department. You can't discriminate on the basis of sex. But we do in intercollegiate athletics. But we do. There has, and the penalty for if an athletic department is shown to be discriminating on the basis of sex, say in intercollegiate athletics, the big punishment is they get their federal funds withdrawn, which is a death sentence, essentially. How many universities have ever had that happen to them? Since 1972. Are they all in compliance?
No. There's no way.
No.